Good evening. Just a wrap up of the council meeting for the City of Grand Rapids for Monday, January 12th. As we always do at the beginning of the year with the new council, we welcomed Council Member Toivonen and Council Member Ziggy onto the Grand Rapids City Council for 4-year terms. So they got their first meeting this evening, and I think things went well, and hopefully they will enjoy their time on the council and be productive members of the council going forward for the next 4 years. With that, we had our organizational meeting where we put council members on different boards and commissions and committees. We did that as a slate of officers in order from a time standpoint, but we had discussions in work session prior and prior to that one-on-ones with looking at where their skills were and what best committee or commission that they could serve on that would best serve the City of Grand Rapids. We designated Ed Zabinski as Mayor Pro Tem for 2015. Grand Rapids Herald Review is the official newspaper. We accepted the council bylaws. Under the consent agenda, not a lot going there. We got some digital voice recorders, some grant for some child safety seats, special assessment improvements. We transferred some money from some bonds that had terminated in 2005, and any remaining funds went into a 2013 refunding obligation bonds. And we had some land. Grand Rapids State Bank donated some land that is going to be designated and turned into a park out there. Moving on to the department head report, Linda Greyer, our HR director, gave a department head report this evening, and then some of the big things that happened under regular council. We had a move to get some permitting reclassifications within the City of Grand Rapids with the inspectors, the building inspectors and the fire inspectors. We had not had the state ability to go out and do those inspections, and it was actually costing the City of Grand Rapids money. If you were having the state do those permit reviews, they would come in, the revenue would go there. The example that was used this evening was the Rife Center. It's a $9 million project by the city, now having employees that can go out there and do that permit review and approval process. It will actually bring in to the city somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 to $40,000 of permit revenue that would normally go to the state, but will now, because of the work that staff in community development have done, those revenues will come directly to the City of Grand Rapids. So that was a good thing. Up in community development, we also started a process. Hawkinson Construction has a large parcel of land up north to the east of Highway 38 and to the south of County Road 61, and they're looking at an environmental assessment worksheet to look at taking some aggregate material off from there, starting to process some sand and gravel out of that property. So we're going to be going through that process over the next 4+ months as they do a review from an environmental assessment standpoint on approving that. It's up to a $10,000 deposit was put on with the City of Grand Rapids from Hawkinson. If it costs more than $10,000 to do that review process, they are responsible for that cost. If it costs less than $10,000, they will of course be reimbursed for that cost. Under the finance, Barbridge Department, we looked for a renewal of the software service agreement for 2015, a little over $20,000 for that for the year. With regrets, A.J. Morris had stayed on in the fire department as chief with the retirement of Steve Flaherty, who took a job down in the cities. From a training standpoint, we wanted somebody in there that was going to continue to work through the development phases of what we were looking for in the fire department, and A.J. Morris had agreed to take that responsibility for a year, but with his work duties at the county and stuff, he is retiring once again from the fire department. We will be going through the process of filling those positions. Along with that, we appointed Will Richter, who was a trainee, into a firefighter position, and Lance Kuschel is going to be moving into a trainee position. So we will continue to have 30 plus 2 trainees in the fire department. We're looking at filling our facilities maintenance manager. Ron Edminster had provided the expertise in that area for years, and Ron is going into a phased retirement in which we will and have revisited and modified the job description so that we can get someone in going out into the future that has HVAC certifications. We spend a lot of money on cooling and heating because we didn't have the skills at the city side. The new position that will be filled going forward will have those skill sets, so that when we look at maintenance contracts, we can reduce the cost of maintenance contracts under building maintenance and facilities. This year, I believe we spent about $31,000, and we hope to cut that cost down significantly going forward. We also got a reduction. We got a 5-year agreement for criminal prosecution from Attorney John Dimich in town. He was at about $63,000 a year, and because of some streamlining and some improvements on the technology side, John has agreed to charge us $55,000 a year, not only for year 2015, but through 2019, a 5-year period. So about an $8,000 a year reduction, and that reduction is held at a flat rate for the next 5 years. So that, once again, that was a good cost saving. We do bring in about $80,000 under that part of prosecution from fines and forfeitures. So the city actually benefits and gains from that. So with that, we changed the code for Public Utilities Commission. PUC is an independent organization underneath the city's umbrella. I think most of you out there know that the City of Grand Rapids is technically the owner of the Public Utilities Commission, but they operate as an independent authority under different statutes within the state. One of the things that we'd had is there's opportunities that those terms out there were 3-year terms in the past. We needed state approval to extend those terms. There's one council appointed position on the PUC, and there are 4 that are appointed for 3-year terms. Every so often we were having PUC commissioners come up in the same year, and we thought, that's crazy. We need to stagger those terms. So we went to the state and asked for approval to extend those terms out. So if appointed to the PUC commission, you will be on there for a 4-year term with the ability to be reappointed for 4-year terms. So that was approved by the state. It was approved tonight by the council to go into that. And in 2017, where we will get that first opportunity that we would have 2 PUC commissioners coming up for reappointment. One will be reappointed for a 1-year term, and the other one, if he chooses to or is looking at through council approval, would be up for a 4-year reappointment. That would put us on the schedule of every year. Then after that, we will have, it'll come before the council to reappoint or put someone new onto the PUC commission. We paid the bills, and we're looking forward to getting together. We have some work sessions coming up in which our new council members will be getting updated on the comp plan. They will be brought up to speed on some of the city contracts. Tom Pagel, our city administrator, this is the first year in the 8 years that I've been on the council where literally all of our contracts have been approved prior to the beginning of the year. So we had 5 contracts that were up for renewal. 4 of the contracts have been signed and agreed to for the next 3 years. So over the next 3 years, those are in place. We have a sergeant's union contract that are very close to being done. So the 5th one was technically not done, but I believe in principle was close to being done prior to the council meeting this evening. And we're looking forward to the successful signing off on that contract coming up here in the next few days. And as I say, we will be fully in place then over the next 3 years. We won't have contract negotiations on the table there. So with that, we will see everybody on January 26th. Stay warm. If you've got an opportunity to get out and enjoy the weather, it's going to be warming up slightly over the next few days, but once again, we're getting into time of year as well. I'd like to put a plug in for the high school teams. Get out and enjoy some high school sports. Take an opportunity to go to the Rife for some Rife performances, or just enjoy some of the many opportunities we have out there, from a winter opportunity for snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, skating, hiking. Get out and enjoy the weather on these days that are going to be warming up. Thanks, everyone.